Would it not be nice to have a podiatrist with you when you shoe shop so you know the best shoe to buy? Well, this is the next best thing. I'm going to share the best qualities to look for in a shoe and what works best for certain foot conditions. So hang with me. Hey, it's Dr. Gaffney from Dr. Gaffney Best Foot here, sharing tips and tricks of what has helped my patients over the years in order to save you time and money in your foot care decisions. So there's a vast landscape in shoe gear and what to buy. So I'm going to share with you in general the qualities of what to look for and what to look for specifically according to what foot pathology that you may have. And in general, I'm going to be talking about modern footwear. We're all adapted to the modern footwear, modern surfaces. I'm going to save barefoot shoes for another time. So in general, what you want to look for is a shoe that's wide enough for your forefoot. And most shoes, unfortunately, are tapered to the toes. This is a New Balance, is made relatively wide on a wide last, but still it's tapered at the toes. Probably an Altra is the best kind to get that's wide at the toes. And I'm going to show you how to assess if your shoe is wide enough for your forefoot. Next thing you want to do is take your insole out of the shoe and see if your foot overhangs the insole there. If it doesn't, that means it's wide enough, and you should have a little bit of width there from the end of your toe to the end of the insole. Now you can see from my dress shoe here to my hiking shoe like how much more narrow this is than my hiking shoe, so that's going to squeeze your forefoot and hurt your foot. Another thing to notice when you're comparing shoes, the last here, the New Balance last is very wide compared to this Oh Boy's last. It's extremely narrow compared to that, and you can definitely feel it in the shoe. One of the quick ways I can tell how well a shoe is made is if they're stitched on the inside, and most of these are. You can contrast the construction of those well-made sneakers with this cheaper slide on, and it has a it's glued together there and has a cardboard midsole, so it's not gonna last too long. It's also extremely flexible. You can fold it in half, and the heel counter is real mushy, so it is not a good shoe. And if I wear this for more than like a half an hour, my neuroma starts hurting. One tip for people with bunions, if you get a men's shoe, if you're a lady and get a men's shoe, they're made on a more wider last, and it'll give you more room for your bunions. Also, for people with hammer toes, it's just nice if the upper gives a little bit like this, like a mesh upper usually gives, and that way you don't have that pressure on your hammer toes. Also, mesh on the sides, good for people with bunions as well. Okay, so in addition to that stretchy upper, the mesh upper, the decreased pressure on the knuckles if you have hammer toes or bunions, if you have like big toe joint arthritis or pain at the ball of the foot, you need to find a shoe that has a little bit of an upturn there. I call it a rocker sole. This one has a little bit of an upturn at the toe there, so it'll take up that motion to push off and won't go through the big toe joint or the ball of the foot, causing you pain. If you have a little bit of a rocker sole and an upturn there, it'll take pressure off your neuroma if you have a neuroma. And also you want the forefoot to be somewhat stiff. This has a little bit of a give, which is okay. This hiking shoes are usually a little more stiff or stiffer. So this one doesn't budge at all. So that'll really take up the motion and push off. Now this, unfortunately, the rocker was in the wrong spot and it sort of bothered my neuroma. So it's, these things are very individual. That's why you got to try on the shoes and make sure it's not going to bother you. What might not bother another person, be good for one person, might be bad for you. And you can see in these cheaper shoes, it's really gets a lot of give here. So this will bother anybody with forefoot issues, like ball of the foot problems, arthritis, neuromas, neuritis. And it's also really kind of squeezing the forefoot. It's a tapered toe box. Also, you don't want to have a shoe that can bend in half because it'll cause a lot of pressure and cause strain. So in the back of the shoe, it should have a nice stiff heel counter like that. It shouldn't be mushy. If you happen to have rear foot problems like peroneal tendonitis or ankle instability, if you get a flared heel, this one is slightly flared, but some of those old Nike shoes, they have a real flared heel where it would go out like that. It really stabilizes the rear foot. Okay, so what not to wear for foot health? These cute shoes. These were the shoes I wore to my daughter's wedding. I wore them all about 10 minutes before my neuroma started to hurt. So you can tell with ladies' dress shoes, they're basically torture devices for your feet. You know, with the heel, it puts all the pressure on the ball of the foot where the little nerves are, and then it's so narrow there. You can tell, you know, this is my sneaker, that's the dress shoe. You can tell how narrow that is. So it just squeezes the forefoot, puts all the pressure on those little nerves between the little bones down there. And it just, if you don't have problems, if you wear these day in, day out, you will have problems. You'll have a short Achilles tendon, you'll end up getting neuritis. They're not good news. Now flip-flops, everybody loves flip-flops, but they're good to wear just briefly. It doesn't have a recessed heel. Your heel's going to slide around in it, and when your heel slides around, you get more friction. You'll get callus around your heels and cracks, and those are aggravating. Also, these aren't good for foot function because your toes are grabbing the ground. Your foot's not functioning very well that way. My go-to sandal in the summer is a Birkenstock. It has a nice recessed heel, has a cork and leather arch support in there, a wide forefoot to accommodate all my toes, and it works really well. So in summary, what to look for in a shoe. Wide forefoot, preferably as wide as your toes, like an Altra. Look on the inside, take the insole out, look on the inside, see if it's stitched. That tells you it's good quality. See if it's nice and wide like that. That tells you if it's wide enough for your foot. If you have a wide foot compared to that one, you can tell that this is a lot wider. If you have hammer toe bunions, you want a stretchy upper on the side so you don't get that pressure. If there's a neuroma or any arthritis in the forefoot, you want to have a rocker sole that takes up the motion of push off. In the heel, you want a nice stiff heel counter there. And also if you have problems in the rear foot, like tendonitis or ankle instability, look for a flared heel and try to avoid any mushy part on the outside. This is almost mushy. Some soles have a mushy outsole and it makes you slide to the outside and can cause some tendonitis. Also, I just want to mention, you want a flat sole. I've seen soles with bumps on it, and I think it throws you off and throws off your stability. Last but not least, if you don't want to have foot problems, don't wear ladies' dress shoes, because if you don't have foot problems, these will definitely cause it. Thanks so much for watching. If this has helped you and you've gotten value out of this, please like and subscribe. And please check out my episodes on how to relieve arthritis pain in your feet, as well as how to stop plantar fasciitis. And I will see you again next time. Thanks very much.
Please see the full disclaimer in the description. This is not a doctor-patient relationship. This does not constitute medical advice, but is for informational purposes only.